Okay, and I am going to ask everybody if you can please mute if you are not presenting at the time, unless we're taking a vote and you need to say aye, okay? I know, bossy, but there are a few of us, so it'll be easier if we don't have any background noise. So whenever you're ready, Abby, the next one. We'll start again. We've been thanking our sponsors at the beginning and the end of every session, and we'll do the same with this one. So thank you again to our sponsors for the whole conference, and especially our sponsors for today, and our ISASH Endowment Fund for sponsoring Curtis Weber's presentation this morning. So thank you. All right. Before we begin, let me just scroll through our participants for a second. There's someone that we may want to call out. Okay, I'm going to ask everybody to keep an eye out. We are expecting a special guest may join us today. We've given Chip Petrie a backstage pass to this show for today, so there's a good possibility that Chip will pop in and say hi at some point, just to make sure we're doing a good job, and because so many people have been asking about him, because he's truly missed around here. So, okay, next slide. So what you see here, this is the official, we're going to call this meeting to order and review the voting guidelines as we always do. So just a reminder that all ISASH regular members are eligible to vote on action items. To be a regular member, you must have paid your dues of $150 US dollars annually for the 2021 year. So the list you see here, those are the people who have paid as of noon today. If anyone's paid since then please do type into the chat and let us know. And actually, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to ask everyone to type your name into the chat and member afterwards if you're a member. If you have paid your $150 US dollars for, thanks Dee, if you paid your $150 US dollars for this year, so Dee, in your case, just if you don't mind putting, I think it was you and Jill, if you can put those names in the chat with member after your name. If everyone can just take a sec to do that. This will help us tremendously with our record keeping and note taking after the meeting. Okay. Excellent, thank you. All right, and we can see a few there we might follow up on. It could be that you've paid by group and it hasn't yet been processed. Okay. So for those, so I don't want to call anyone out, but if you have paid, I'm going to suggest do put member or your note will be good enough and you go ahead and vote because we know you're good for it. Okay, you know who you are.
Sandy?
Yes.
Just a note for those people that paid by check, they received a link in their notifications messages that they had to click on in order to get into the member area. And I don't know where you got your list from, but if they didn't activate that, it won't look on IMN like they're a paid member.
Exactly why we're doing this, just so we can cross-reference and make sure that there isn't anyone who has missed. So thank you for that, Marcia.
But if they're a member and they haven't clicked on the link, if they want to get into the member section, that's how they get there. Just so they know.
Thank you. So the other thing that this did was served as our roll call. Okay, typically, as you know, when we are able to be in person, Chip passes around a lined piece of paper and we all jot down our name and our email address and our phone number and anything else that we want Chip to know. So this time we've done it by typing our name in the chat and putting member after our name so that we can record our attendance in terms of both members and non-member participants. I would like to add the meeting is being recorded, little red dot flashing at the top. We always have to let people know that. And we will be grabbing a copy, obviously, of the chat as a text file at the end so we can match up our records keeping. We know who is here and any great input or comments, follow-ups, anything like that. That'll help tremendously as well. So the other thing I'd like to do before we go any further is I want to thank Abby. I think all of you have had a chance to meet Abby. And so Abby, wherever you are, can you show your face for a sec there? Let me see. Abby has been amazing behind the scenes. in the hospitality suites, in the sessions leading up to this, helping us keep all of our ducks in a row, if you will. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank Abby. She's been a tremendous help. So thank you. Oh, I love that. Thank you, Abby. Throw thank you, Abby's in the chat if you're feeling it. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. And then the only other thing from me, well, two things before we go. There is one agenda change. If you look down to, if you have your agenda, if you happen to have printed it out, for the standing committee reports, neither Natalie nor Mike were able to be with us today for the finance committee. So now Brian Cool, rather than Wendy Bennett, Brian Cool is going to do that report on behalf of the finance committee. So that's the only agenda change. And before we jump right into these reports, I do have one small favor to ask of everyone, and that is, let's try and keep it brief. We have several slides from some of you, and there's so much great information there, and we do want to hear it, but either speak like an auctioneer or try and just keep it as brief as you can, okay? Let's try and limit to them to at most 5 minutes each so we can get through, because we have lots to cover. So with that, welcome everybody. And Jana, when you're ready, if you'd like to give the Family Farmstead and Leisure Interest Group report, that would be great.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sandy. So our group met yesterday, and I'll jump in really quickly as to what we discussed. But for those that are new to ISASH and maybe you visited another interest group yesterday, but just to let you know kind of what our interest group is all about. We were created to address activities and issues associated with farm and home structures, livestock production and handling facilities, agricultural farmstead equipment, farm chemical use and disposal, on the job and off the job, including recreational activities for those living and or working in rural areas. And as Steve Freeman so lovely put it yesterday when we were on the call, we're pretty much the catch-all for everything else that doesn't fall under the other two interest groups. So as you know, there's three groups altogether, 2 other ones. I just strongly encourage you to be involved with one. So whether you pick our group or one of the 2 you'll hear about, get involved. It's the best way to network and best way to learn about ISASH, but everybody is welcome to join our group. I have kind of taken the reins this year as the chair, and the past chair was Brandy Jansen. I do know because of another leadership role I have, I may also need to give up the chair position here. So we are looking for some leadership of this group and possibly a chair and a co-chair. So if anybody is interested, let me know. Let one of the members of the board know, and we can make that happen. So next slide, please. All right, so traditionally our interest group meets once a year. So unfortunately, the last time we actually met in person was in Des Moines 2 years ago when we had our meeting, and you can see there, I'm not going to read you all the names of everybody there, but that is who is involved. And just to tell you a little bit about our past accomplishments and our future goals, traditionally, we have always ensured that ISASH has a presence during National Farm Safety and Health Week and focusing on topics related to families living and working on farms. We have also helped and assisted with programming and topic recommendations for future ISASH conference, like technical and plenary sessions, speakers and panelists, themes, and so on. And we also, a goal of ours is to be able to offer educational opportunities in IMN, such as guest speakers, informational session for our ISASH members throughout the year, not just during conference. So final slide, please. And then just a quick snapshot of yesterday. We met yesterday afternoon while all the other groups were meeting. As you can see, we had 6 members in attendance, including myself. And just some key discussions were taken around the following, highlighting International Ag Safety and Health Weeks better. So now that we do have a calendar and we have the event section in the ISASH member network, let's use it. And that's the best way we can share about all the different weeks going on throughout the year or celebrations, because we know there's more than National Farm Safety and Health Week here in the state. So we want to just encourage that we get all the other countries involved. Also encouraging more abstract submissions showing practical application and programming. As Steve Freeman had mentioned yesterday in our call, that back in, I think, 2020, he did receive a lot more of those, but unfortunately they withdrew from presenting at the virtual conference last year and then didn't reapply for 2021. So we need to reach out to those folks and make sure we're getting more of those applications. And then just other topic areas, looking at discussions around just generational differences, policy success stories, process and lessons learned, maybe working with special audience. We've talked about both the Amish and Mennonite communities and also the migrant workers, which I know we did focus on during some sessions this week. The women's influence on farm safety, and also continue with important topics that we've traditionally focused on, like youth safety, agritourism, and mental health. We know mental health can kind of go across various interest groups, but we also want to focus on that as well. So those are some of the things that we're planning to do. So if you want to join our group with that, if you're excited about some of those topics, let us know, and we will work again with the board to make sure we're doing some programming on those in the upcoming year. That's all I have. I don't know, do I need to ask for a motion to accept my report? Thank you, if I can have that.
Yes, please. Can we get a motion for that?
As it's coming from a committee, it's already a motion. It just needs to be accepted.
Okay, can you please accept my report?
So now we would just vote. All those in favor, you hit a reaction button or your hands up.
Or old school, just say aye.
Looks we have confirmed it's an affirmative. We accept your report.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, moving on to the Traffic Transportation Tractor and Machinery Safety Interest Group, and I believe we have Farzana with us today.
Hey, I just wanted to provide a very short report from our meeting yesterday. And in our group, actually, it changed a little bit, but, we usually discuss different topics around, agricultural machinery safety, such as tractor safety, ATV safety, and, new technology safety in our group. And, our main goal of, our group is to have more connection with manufacturers and, increase the, collaboration between academia and manufacturer. We also review different standards in our group. And again, this is one of the 3 primary interest group in ISASH group, and people can, the ISASH member can join this group. I was the chair from, for last year and this year. And, we didn't have meeting this year, but, I don't know whether I should, step down this year, and the vice chair, Sarah, should be the chair for next year. Is there another slide? I made a slide. I'm not sure if you receive it or not. Okay. Okay, and actually it's a little bit different from what I made, but we didn't have meeting last year, but this year, we had the meeting, and compared to the last year, our attendance was much less compared to the last year. And in our meeting this year, we had discussion around National ROPS rebate program, quad bike safety around from Canada, Australia, and around the board. And also, from the CPD rebate program from Australia and New Zealand, and also, more updates around, ATV safety. We also had a suggestion for this group. We come to this idea to make a new subcommittee as a new technology, or having a completely different, complete another committee as new technologies that covers topics such as robotic, artificial intelligence, and other new technologies. And this is the suggestion for future. Okay, is there any question, or does anyone accept the report?
So all you have to do, Prasanna, is I move to,
Yeah,
Accept.
because, okay,
all you have to do is move to accept the report, and
okay,
then we'll take it up as a vote.
okay.
So all
So-
those in favor,
Thank you.
raise your hand or your emoji or however you want to do. There you go.
We got an eye from Glenn.
It was all in the affirmative so far. Good.
Okay. Thanks
Okay,
for
thank
helping
you.
with the voting, Michael.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay. So rural occupational health and safety interest group, Diana? Is Diane with us today? Not seeing her. And Athena? Oh,
So we.
Hi, Go ahead.
Okay, we also elected a new incoming chair. If Sala is here, he could give our report. Or,
I
Sorry,
don't-
I'm here. I was on
hi,
mute.
Sala. Sure. Do you
Hi.
mind giving a report then as incoming chair?
Sure. So I was in the Rural Occupational Health and Safety Interest Group. So the purpose of the Rural Occupational Health and Safety Committee is to identify and classify those occupational health hazards faced by agriculture community and to encourage the development and dissemination of appropriate intervention and educational materials to help prevent and reduce occupational illness in agriculture. So this year, our goal for this year is to meet on a quarterly basis, and it will be open to all. And with our first meeting coming up in August, and our goal for this year, instead of having necessarily project to do, it's more to recap and get to know each other, get to know the projects that are going on, and yeah, that's basically our report. And I'll be co-sharing with Diane.
Terrific. And can you move to have us accept your report?
Yes, I'll move to have the report accepted.
Thank you. All those in favor? Looking good. You guys are getting the hang of this now. Okay, great. All right. So moving on then to the ad hoc committee reports. This one's you, Mr. Pate. Michael, did you have one? Sorry, can you go back a slide, Abby? Did you have a report for the nominating committee, Michael?
Yeah, I apologize. I was on mute for just a second. So and I'm making sure I'm getting my documentation in order here. So for the nominating committee for the Board of Directors election, we had Dee Jepson, Gretchen Mosier, Jana Davidson, and Ellen Dyson serve on that committee. That's an ad hoc committee put together by the president-elect each year. So the slate was vetted then after being reviewed by the nominating committee. Names were put forth to the board of directors. They were Gloria Brock, Carolyn Sheridan, serving for a second term, Josie Rudolphi, Brenton Mosley, Stacy Vincent, and Jamie Thiessen. Those individuals were the slate. Voting went out. We recorded 53 members cast votes for three replacements that for the individuals rolling off of the committee. That would be myself. I will be a non-voting member as president for 2021 to 2022. And Sandy will be the past president for 2021 to 2022. And then we have, who was the third one? Do you remember, Sandy?
Carolyn.
Carolyn was, oh, yes, Carolyn was going up to her second term. My bad. Sorry. So of those 53 members that voted for three of their top choices, we have their election results were Gloria Brock, Carolyn Sheridan, who were elected to a second term, and Josie Rudolphi. So thank you all for participating in the voting and selecting your membership representatives here for the board. And that concludes my report on the nominating committee. We're looking forward to a new president-elect here, hopefully after the meeting when the new directors roll on after the conference, and then we'll have an election for the president-elect out of the board of directors. So that concludes my report.
Okay, do we need to accept your report, Michael Pate?
No.
Okay, thank you. All right, and then we did form a strategic planning ad hoc committee this year, so slightly different than the traditional membership of the long range planning, but included most of the same people. And we did that for several reasons, but one of which was even just to build upon and continue the work from the outcomes of the survey that Dee had done just a few years ago. So picking up from there and looking at the strategic plan as it exists at that point, and looking for opportunities to improve that. We wanted to make sure that we gave opportunities for membership to lend their voice. We wanted to hear what members want and need, just as Dee had struck out to do with that survey. So taking a collection of inputs, we also agreed to have the open forum that with Scott, myself, and Michael, and facilitated by Steve Freeman on the 14th, which for those who attended, it was such a rich discussion. And we have all of those inputs as well, which will help sort of form reports and strategic planning and things moving forward. And we'll be able to share that information with the traditional long-range planning committee, which includes all committee chairs. So on that end, one of the other things that we did was we revisited that survey. We went back to the questions that Dee had asked and asked those again and asked several others as well. And we closed that survey Tuesday evening. So I'm going to turn it over to Steve now. Steve, who has lots of experience with strategic planning, has agreed to chair this ad hoc committee. And he has already put together a little bit of information based on the survey results that closed Tuesday evening. So if you can go to the next slide, and I'll pass it over to Steve to finish this report.
Thank you, Sandy. So let me just start out by saying I appreciate everybody who filled out the survey. We had 37 members complete it by the time it closed Tuesday. And I think that this is the data that I really wanted to start with. This was the question about what did the members find value of participating in ISASH. So as you can see from this really quick graph, the number one thing that people liked was the ability to do networking, followed by sharing information about intervention programs, gaining professional knowledge, and then information about research. So this helps us confirm that our mission and vision is still on track. And we will be going through all of the data from the rest of the survey, and we will be presenting that multiple times in multiple formats so everybody can be involved.
Terrific.
I see a chat that said I was not very clear. Sandy, I don't know what part of that was unclear or what part of that I need to repeat.
I'm not sure because I actually could hear it very well. So it must have been connection on the other end. I'm sorry.
You told me about your meeting with Jason, but you just had your closing meeting at debate, right? At Bay Bay.
Okay. I think someone's on another meeting perhaps. And maybe needs to mute their phone. So I think the unclear may have been directed to the person on the phone with them rather than you, Steve, because I don't know. Was everyone else able to hear Steve okay?
I was, Sandy.
Okay.
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay, terrific.
Okay,
Thank you.
I would just say everybody stay tuned and please engage with the Strategic Planning Committee as we move forward, because our strategic plan is only going to be as good as the input and feedback that we receive.
Exactly. Hear, hear. Thank you, Steve. Okay. All set? Okay, so let's move in now to the Standing Committee reports. And of course, first we will go to Bylaws and Resolutions Committee. Mr. Hetzel.
We have no official report as we haven't met or had anything come to us, but we do have a resolution for the meeting. And in order to do that, we went to the guru writing resolutions. And I'm going to call on Dr. Bob A. Heron to give the resolution. Unmute yourself, Bob.
Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate those kind words. I know you're doing it out of guilt. He called me after Sandy called him and asked him for resolutions and said he had to plant beans and harvest his hay. So I used that poor excuse to help this poor farmer out. So anyway, I'm here's the resolution done under duress in the last half a day or so.
Much appreciated.
So my list to it, you're going to have to vote on it. But the resolution for ISASH resolution for 2021. Whereas the 2021 International Society for Agricultural Safety and Health Conference, with its theme connecting agricultural health and safety across the world, new perspective and partnerships, has been a professional success, even though it was held in a virtual cloud due to COVID. Whereas while everyone was exceptionally nice, the setting for many attendees was not some faraway exotic location or swank hotel, but one's bedroom or home office. Most hid their faces during sessions, although some did do a reveal, which proved to be shocking how their appearance had changed after long periods of quarantine, as Murray Madsen can exhibit. Showed some of us. Whereas the conference was kicked off a week prior to the opening session with a forum of mostly past presidents and current president, the discussion was lively and mostly much wisdom was shared by these has-beens and short-timers. There was a particular good turnout at the new member breakfast with some incredibly talented and dedicated to farm safety, mostly young professionals. The future of ISASH looks very bright. The welcoming session was presented by 4 individuals representing past, current, and future ISASH presidents. These individuals exemplified the conference theme by representing 4 different countries, which also showed a real example of the recent decades process toward the goal of ISASH being a more true international organization. Whereas there were approximately 150 registered participants from 17 countries. Whereas the conference international theme was particularly focused on during each opening day's session regarding the international perspective on key issues of safety culture, farmer mental health, agricultural immigrant safety, and nudging. The anticipation that an ISASH conference will be hosted in one of our non-North American countries in the near future is very high. Whereas we were challenged and informed professionally through approximately 50 technical presentations and 25 posters on a wide variety of agricultural safety and health topics that will provide us additional tools for our professional toolboxes to improve our abilities to save lives and limbs of farm and ranch people. These presentations were mostly in-depth and professionally well done. Although some have noted that a few of the poster presenters were packing too much in their short allotted presentation time and were talking so fast, some could not understand what they were saying. These were comments that were given to me to include in the resolution. I just want to make that qualification. Okay. This is not all my thoughts. This was likely the first time most presenters ever presented a poster over the web rather than standing by a poster and answering questions from conference participants. The time and preparation by these presenters were greatly appreciated. General technical sessions were on timely needed topics such as marketing, health and safety, evaluation, mental health, innovation and training, child and youth safety equipment, and grain bin safety, and livestock and heat stress safety. Whereas most of the discussion forums and virtual hospitality sessions allowed for old colleagues to reconnect and to make new professional friends with the Zoom format of a computer screen of small live shots of participants, one got the feeling it was more of a Brady Bunch type of forum. This is according to the extinguished agricultural safety professional, Dr. Jepson from Ohio. It is realized that most of the younger conference participants have never seen the Brady Bunch TV show. They should seek Dr. Jepson's explanation. Whereas we are greatly appreciative of the 4 sponsors who, through their contributions, helped make this first ISASH online conference a success, to include John Deere, North Carolina Agro-Medicine Institute, Ag Health Central State Center, and the National Farm Medicine Center. Whereas this outstanding professional event did not simply occur, but was a direct result of the hard work and dedication of the 2021 annual meeting conference committee, consisting of Sandy Miller, chair, Ellen Dyson, Michael Petrie, Gretchen Mosier, Jana Davison, Jim Caraba, Melissa Pokemon, I can never say your last name, Melissa, I'm sorry, exactly right. Michael Pate, Scott Heiberger, Steve Freeman, and last but not least, Lamar Graham. A special thanks of appreciation also goes to Jack Davis for his endless hours of work on assembling a photo history of ISASH/NIFS conferences. Therefore, be it resolved, this is the last paragraph. Therefore, be it resolved that the members of the International Society for Agricultural Safety and Health gratefully acknowledge the sincere appreciation and support and contributions of money, material goods, time, and effort be expressed in a letter by our president to all those who made our first annual virtual meeting and conference a truly memorable event, both professionally and personally. I move that this resolution be accepted.
We have a seconder from Dean Anderson. Thank you. Accepted. Love it. Thank you so much, Glenn, for arranging that, and Bob for putting that together. For anyone who's new here, I mean, that was very well written and very entertaining, but you should see Bob go when he's got some actual live material to work with when we've been in person for a few days. So perhaps it's better. We're all a little safer this way. So,
Yeah.
all right. Do you have anything further to add, Mr. Hetzel?
No, I move that our report be accepted. Oh, that was the resolution.
Okay, you gotta accept that.
I always say, if in doubt, let's just vote. If we didn't need a vote, well, we have an extra one.
Yep. Show a raised hand or reaction of thumbs up.
Looking good.
Affirmative. I think that's a.
We're good.
That's an affirmative.
Excellent. Thank you again, gentlemen. Okay, moving on. Alan Dyson, would you like to give us the membership committee report? Oh, did I miss one? I apologize. Can we go back a slide? Sorry, we need to do long range planning with Peter, please.
Okay, it's a report from the long range planning committee, and the duties are to responsible for long range vision and planning of the organization. And the membership of this committee includes the past president, the chair, myself, past president, current president, president-elect, and one co-chair from each standing committee and interest group. But we have not had any actual meeting this year, but the board have approved an ad hoc strategic planning committee, as you've heard, to gather and evaluate insights and make recommendation to make support long-range planning. But I can add that I think that we all see that ISASH is doing great, expanding into the international world. So that's great. That's a report from myself.
And do you have a motion to accept that report, Peter?
Yeah, can we, I move to have this report being accepted.
Thank you.
All those in favor of the report, accepting
We're
report?
not even waiting for you anymore, Michael.
Okay,
We got
good.
this. We know how to do this.
All right.
But thank you. I appreciate it. I've asked Michael to help me. It's a lot of multitasking. So plus he needs to practice, right? So membership committee, Alan Dyson.
Well, hello, everybody. So very, very briefly, we start off by talking about what we do. We are working very closely with the PR committee. As a matter of fact, 3 of our 4 meetings this past year were held in collaboration. And I just think it's a great partnership, because we are certainly doing have similar missions, goals, and aims. So it's been a pleasure working with the PR committee. We also, we review membership applications to make sure everybody's actually an ag safety and health warrior here. We develop materials and programs to promote those in agricultural professions. We host the new member breakfast, which we had 28 attendees. It was really a lot of fun to meet our new members and have our long-term members introduce themselves to our new members. So to those of you who are able to make it, thank you for that. And then we also do apparently whatever the board tells us to do as assigned, so to speak. So last year we had 15 members. They're listed there. When I went in to check on the ISASH member network, we now officially have 71 members. So I'm going to ask if anyone has more than that on their committee. And I'm not sure people knew what they were signing up for, but I'm going to be calling on these folks. I did ask, check with Sandy, and to be on a committee, you do have to be actually a member in good standing. So we'll be calling on folks as we have our next meeting coming up probably in August or September. Next slide. So just very briefly, I want to, those of you that were able to join us yesterday for the ISASH subcommittee meeting, that is one of the bright points of this year is that under the leadership of membership committee member Charlotte Halverson, she was able to get us together to start with a history project, and we made some really good strides. I think people enjoyed seeing Jack Davis's the beautiful collection he has put together for us, and we can all start adding to that. We're also having a timeline that's currently being developed by a graphic artist. And I had a great conversation with Dennis Murphy today via email, and he will be joining the committee and helping with, he has already some work in progress for all of ag safety and health materials to be archived. And we're wondering if we can't just kind of put hitch our cart onto his wagon and go into this as well. So we really are excited about the history and the projects that are coming out of the membership committee. And we had four meetings of that subcommittee, and we'll have another one coming up very shortly. So that is also another committee you can join on the ISASH member network, and we encourage everyone to join that. Next slide. And then we have some goals, and one of the goals that we've been working on and not made much progress on, and I know it's been an initiative that Sandy really wanted to work on, was our new member welcome packet that will include, it'll be very concise and will include a lot of information to get people started on the way as a new member. And really, I think this is something that we really should focus on this year. So anyone that would be interested in working on something like that, please let me know. We don't have a current number of new members right at this moment because there was some question about people who had paid via check or invoice. So I will get that report to the board when we get that. And with that, I would ask that on behalf of the membership committee, that we move the adoption of the membership committee report.
Looks great. And this is a great time also, just in case anyone has joined us and can't quite find where to raise their hand. Michael, can you show again, or Abby, anyone, if you scroll to the bottom of your screen and where those people would need to go?
Yeah, so if you would look in the participants button, there would be an option to raise your hand, and that will show a hand raised in your screen. Or you can use the reactions tab where it's at the bottom. It'll be a thumbs up, and you can do that, or good old fashioned unmute and say aye, like a good vote.
You're going to say like a good pirate.
But then I stopped myself. I didn't know how far I could go with that, but
I think,
I expected it. So, okay, excellent. So it looks as though that one has also been accepted, and thank you for the tutorial. So I think we all are doing a great job of raising our hands. So moving on to the PI committee, and Gretchen is unable to join us today, so Steve is going to give this report.
All right, well, let me start by just saying I'm not going to read this slide to you. We're going to keep moving ahead. So if we could go on to the next slide. This year we had 36 oral presentation abstracts submitted and 24 poster presentations submitted. In our virtual format, Gretchen and I did all of the vetting initially. Normally we parse that out to our committee, and this year we saved them from that. But we had some conference papers submitted this year, which we didn't have any last year. So the PI committee did get to do our peer review related to those, and those have been accepted and have been assigned ISASH numbers, and they will be appearing someplace within the member network, hopefully fairly soon, if they're not already there.
I think they're already there.
Okay, very good. So go on to our next slide, please. As we move into next year, we are still working with improving our abstract submission process. It seems like from our end, as soon as we learn a system, then there's a system update or a software update, and we kind of have to learn it again. Hopefully that doesn't make it too difficult for the people that are submitting, but we're continuing to work on that. And we will be hosting within the member network a session again in this upcoming fall or early spring about how to submit a good abstract. So we are looking forward to a much more normal and robust face-to-face meeting where we will get back to business as usual. And with that, I would like to have people vote on the acceptance of our report.
Okay, I think we're good. Michael?
Thank you.
Okay, public relations, Jana or Jim?
I will go ahead, but I will always welcome any comments from Jim. But hello again, Jana Davidson here. I'm one of the co-chairs along with Jim Williams of the PR committee. Like Steve, I'm not going to read you exactly the duties of our public relations committee, but you can go ahead and take a look and see what we do. And I just want to encourage you, we're open to all ISASH membership. So if this is a committee that you feel best fits you and your personal talents, come join us. As you can see here, all of our PR committee members that we've had active over the last year, we're also excited to welcome Jenna Gibbs. She's our newest member that we invited right around our last meeting. So I believe she will be joining us for our future meetings. So we're very excited about that. Next slide, please. All right, so as far as our accomplishments, I should say, we are very excited, as Ellen has already mentioned, that we've been able to work with the membership committee. It just seems like the perfect fit. We have a lot of the same goals, objectives, and so working together, we can get more accomplished. So we held 5 active meetings over the last year, and several of them were with membership. Some of our success was in creating a press release on the 2020 ISASH conference. We did a little recap of the winners. We also did a press release on the leadership, welcoming Sandy to the new role of president, as well as Michael as president-elect. We also did ISASH's endorsement of 2020 National Farm Safety and Health Week. One other thing we did last fall was we had a special lunch and learn opportunity to really talk to people about how they can utilize some of those resources out there to promote National Farm Safety and Health Week. Where can they get those resources? What's happening that week? So we did that prior to the actual week. I think it was a week before, just so everybody knew where they could find everything and what they could use. It went really well, and I think since then we've seen a lot of other interest groups and committees also have these sessions, which is really great value added for our ISASH members. We also, I think one of the best things that we did this year, I was excited doing it, even though I couldn't be a winner, is we had several contests here through the ISASH member network. So again, that was in joint with membership. We came up with questions. We came up with an amazing fun prize pack. Thank you to all those that donated. You can see who all the donors were in the latest newsletter. So that was just really fun. I think we all learned a lot about ISASH too, which is also a bonus. So that was something we were responsible for. And also just making sure we're getting member information out there on social media. So between Ellen Dyson and some folks from our group, Melissa and myself, we're making sure, and also Jamie, who's taking care of Twitter for us, making sure we're getting the word out. Next slide. So as for 2021 and 2022 goals, Again, we want to continue to work with membership. We're having too much fun to not do that anymore. So we're going to keep working together to recruit and retain our ISASH members. We want to continue to look at best practices around social media and find ways to kind of streamline the process. So I already mentioned Jamie's taking care of Twitter. Ellen really takes care of our Facebook a lot, and then Melissa and I are kind of helping in. But what is the best way that we can get the messages out timely, also not take up a lot of our time, and make sure they're all across the channels? Because we do have some social media channels, I guess we could say, like Instagram, that we're not really utilizing like we should. So also get back to creating and distributing a quarterly newsletter. So we got summer's out, so we're very excited about that. Hopefully fall will recap this conference and all our award winners and different things like that. So keep looking for those in IMN. Continue again to promote ISASH committees and interest groups. I think our goal from a lot of folks in the committee, we want to see every member involved with one interest group or committee or both. You know, look at me, I like to be chair of everything because it's just so much fun. And we are requesting a budget of $1,000 for the upcoming year. It's the same budget we requested last year, especially due to COVID, since we weren't allowed to do as much in person. But guess what? We still tried to stay active with those contests, and that's where we utilized a lot of our money. So thank you so much. And just again, a plug, if you want to join this committee, I believe we're going to try to meet in August. So find us on IMN. You know, all the committees have their own group. We've been sharing our minutes and stuff. Come along, find out when the next meeting is, and join us. So
I have to say something, just to congratulations to Janet and the committee. Wonderful year that the committee has had, and wonderful experience. So well done.
Thank you, Jim. You are a treat to work with. And also, I guess I should also give a shout out to Melissa, is also my partner in crime. Melissa has really stepped up, done a lot. She takes all of our notes for us each meeting, and she's always, anytime I have a project or an idea, or she has an idea, we seem to collaborate together, and it's always fun. So thank you, Melissa. So can I please have your vote to accept this report?
Okay. It's looking good. All right. Thank you, Jana, and thank you, Jim. And next, I checked a moment ago. I don't see Lamar, but we do have Jamie Thiessen with us. So Jamie, could you go ahead with the Research and Development Committee report, please?
Absolutely. So welcome everyone. First of all, especially to our new members. It's wonderful that our network is growing. So our duties are pretty basic, just to inform ISASH as to what is new and hip in the realm of agricultural health and safety. And for the past few years, we've been doing that pretty informally, mostly as Jana had already implied, through social media. I know over the years, a lot of different organizations, some affiliated with ISASH, some not, have been tagging us to post things that they think are really interesting. So we've been doing our best to keep up to date with that. For our accomplishments, we did get around to awarding our annual research publication, and we will also do that again this year. I will let the board know of our decision of that by the end of next week. And our goals are for next year are to we want to increase our membership. So we have we're at 7 people, so we're down to I think 5 now once Lamar retires. And we don't have any formal requests of the other committees or of the board at this time. At our meeting in June, we had a spirited discussion about expanding our awards and naming those awards, just so people can keep better track of them for the purposes of their resume and CV. And I will just, reiterate that again, that I think that that's important, that we streamline and formalize this process a little bit more, just so that's a little bit easier, particularly for those individuals in junior scientists and junior faculty positions, so that they can just refer to that, and when their committees review it, it's not an issue for their promotion. So I certainly, am happy to take any suggestions, but right now we're not requesting any money, which in turns means that we're not going to be looking to fund any awards at this time. The main reason for that is because the last 5 years, from talking with other chairs and with board members, is that I kind of get the sense that our budget has been tightening up a bit. So we feel in our committee, at least, that that's not a good use of resources at this particular time. The final thing I guess I would just say is that the rule that we would like to have moving forward is that we're going to only accept nominations for these awards from ISASH members. And we've had a brief discussion about that as well. And that's really just because it doesn't make a lot of sense if we're running a tighter budget to be expending resources out to folks who are not involved with the organization. So that's where we stand right now. And on a final note here, I just want to give a plethora of thanks here to my colleague, Lamar Graft, who is going to be retiring here. He has been absolutely instrumental to the work of this committee in terms of compiling research and other information. So I just want to say, I know he's not here, but I just want to say thank you to Lamar and all the work he's done these past few decades for egg safety and for our organization. Thank you.
Jamie, I have a question.
Yes.
Has the committee considered looking to see if there's any outside sponsors that would like this? I mean, someone like this, organization sponsor any of the awards? Because as you know, ASAB and other organizations, that's one way they support their awards is getting outside sponsors for those awards.
That's an excellent suggestion. I think that's something that we're going to be looking into here in the next year. We will make sure to do that. Because I think it would be good if we could get sponsors for these awards and actually, give out some money or something else for them, if it's coming from another source other than ISASH, definitely.
Terrific. Okay, thanks for the question, Bob, and thanks, Jamie. Does that conclude your report?
This concludes my report, and I motion for the report to be accepted as is.
They're speed voters now. Okay, we're going to pick up some time. So moving on to the next one is the Endowment Fund Trustees and Glenn Hetzel.
The Endowment Fund Trustees met a number of times during the year. The mission of the Endowment Trustees is to grow the amount of funds in the endowment. According to the operating guidelines, the membership committee is limited to active past presidents, and the organization is limited to using only the interest that's earned each year, not the increase in value of the endowment, but just the interest earned. And the monies that are not used in any one year go back into the main corpus or the main body of the fund. Next slide. The Endowment Fund Trustees met twice this year. The main purpose of the meetings was to review the status of the funds, and we do have a fund manager who is John Dill with the Northwest Mutual Organization, and he's the one that selects the actual stocks or bonds or investments in the fund. The job of the committee is to give guidance in how much risk we are willing to take with the fund itself. And being a relatively conservative group of people, we don't stick our necks out too far. And you'll see here that as we look down through here that we've been pretty successful this year. We normally would have a fundraising event like an auction at the meeting. We considered that this year, but for some group of people who are, most of us retired, it wasn't quite as good an option as it would be sometimes. The amount in the account right now is at 310,178,057 cents. That was in May. It's probably up just a little bit right now. But it fluctuates day to day and week to week as the market. Next slide. To reach that goal, we felt was pretty much a good accomplishment because during the year, you'll see that the fund actually dropped to 239,607.06 cents in March of 2020. But then with the rebound in the market and rebound in other things, we've come up quite a bit. Our main sources of income into the group, into the fund, is through the growth of the fund, but also contributions from members. When you pay your dues, it used to be and will be in the future, there will be an option for you to make a contribution into the fund. And we also hope there will be people who will keep us in mind in their estate planning and at other times when they've got maybe surplus funds they like to put into the fund. Over the years, we funded awards and scholarships. This year, we are funding 2, I believe, the Mainico Award and the Research Award. In some years past, we've paid scholarships for students to present at the meeting. And sometimes we've done other things. And the main thing this year, I believe, is to pay the fee for the main speaker who you heard this morning. So that's how we're using the funds to benefit the members of the organization. That's the end of my presentation. I move that the report be accepted.
Looks great. Okay, thank you for that, Glenn, and thank you to the trustees for funding the speaker this morning and the awards, of course. So.
But I do have one more comment. We have a new chair coming in at the end of the meeting. It'll be Murray Madsen. So if you have more questions about the fund or how to contribute, get in touch with Murray.
Terrific. Okay, thank you. And it will be interesting to see, I haven't had a chance to look back to see if people were getting the answers right to those quiz questions that we put out earlier today. So, okay, moving on to the Finance Committee. And again, we have Brian Kuhl, who is ex officio on the board ex officio for this committee, as neither Natalie nor Mike were able to join us today. So Brian?
Yeah, the Finance Committee met a couple times this year. You can see the duties spelled out there. Really, it's around recommending an annual budget to the ISASH Board of Directors for approval, and then also just staying appraised of the financial position on the operations side of our finances for the organization. To be a member of the committee, you do need to have served 2 consecutive years of regular membership with ISASH, and you can see our committee membership there below. With a bit of a new twist, which you'll see on the next slide, with Wendy Bennett being our board treasurer. We can advance, Abby, if you would. That's been a bit of a transition, both transitioning financial management day to day to ASG, as well as having a board treasurer position now as part of this committee, and trying to understand and maybe evolve on how that position does sit within this board and function within this committee. So I think you'll see some of our initiatives moving forward will involve some how we maybe better utilize the leadership of that treasurer and their liaison to ASG and the daily financial operational statements in helping the committee just move forward with better management. Some of the other initiatives that we've been working on this year and into the coming year, focusing number 1 on a budget. So we did work and provided a 2021 budget to the board of directors. You will see coming up a draft 2022 budget coming to the board for approval in September, and then to the membership in October. So be aware of that. And if you are a regular member, you will see notifications of that for review this fall. And next slide, please. And then just a few other things, as I mentioned, there's been discussion among members of the committee as well as members of the board about changing this board structure a bit and actually having the treasurer of the board be the chair of the finance committee. That may, if that is a decision to move forward with that, that may require some either policy changes or some bylaw concerns, but it's something that we want to look into just because that treasurer does have that day-to-day knowledge, liaisoning with ASG on what is going on with our financials. We would like to keep the co-chair as a committee member, not a board member, but just as an appointed committee member. And then the rest of our recommendations moving forward for the coming year is really around transparency of financial, of the operational financials to the committee on more of a regular basis rather than just from meeting to meeting, as well as having those financial documents housed on the ISASH member network within our committee section. And then just having a little bit better oversight and transparency, as long as with some ability to do some more recommendations around both budgeted and unbudgeted contract work, and really understand how those contracts are structured and what we are actually paying for as it comes out of our budget. And then we continue to look at policies and practices, probably always a good thing to review from the financial side, but we're taking a look at some of those and trying to identify if there are some recommendations we would give to the board for updates. That is the report from the Finance Committee. With that, I would ask for approval, an approval vote for this committee report.
Okay. Looks good. And just before we move into the financial and treasury report, that does conclude the standing committees. So I did also want to just thank all of our committees and committee chairs for all of the extra work. You'd think by not meeting in person, maybe it would have been a little bit less work this year, but I think some of us worked way harder. So thank you very much. And we appreciate the efforts that you're all making to get other members to join. So with that, we'll move into the financial and treasury reports. Wendy Bennett.
Hi, thank you.
Okay.
And what?
Oh, and I was just checking, is Katie with us as well from ASG?
She certainly is. She's here to help me out if I get stuck.
Okay, thank you, Katie, for joining us.
Yes, thanks, Katie. So what I've got on the screen is the highlights from the budget for your lovely perusal. We very, very conservatively projected our conference income of $11,060, and that's for sponsorship and registrations based on the pandemic. We were not certain as to what was going to happen, so that's a conservative estimate with a total income of $31,560 accounting for conference and membership dues. Our committees have only asked for $30,275 this year. And our awards, I apologize, that should actually be $850. I made an Excel formula error. Management fees are up to $10,000 for ASG, which is a significant decrease over what we've paid in past years. Total operations is just over $5,000. You'll notice there are no board travel expenses, which is helpful. Our technology consultant communications management contract that takes care of all things internet, all things, how do I pay, all things, how do I get in here, how do I, is very, very minimal, $12,000 for the value that we get from that, in my opinion. And then our website, total for everything, I apologize, there's somebody at my door, the dog's going mental. Website all costs in $5,900. We do have a projected net income for our budget of negative. Actually, it's going to be another 250. So 5,555 plus 250. However, I'm hoping that given the results of the conference, that the actual income will allow us to have a balance at the end of the day. Next slide, please. Within the operating information, so you will see that there is nothing in here about endowment because that was handled previously already. The fear of a negative balance from the conference or the overall income statement is offset by the fact that we do have a healthy $106,000 currently in the bank. So we don't have a fear that we're going to go belly up at this time. So this is the balance sheet as of May 31st, 2021. The detailed documents, of course, were provided with the meeting information ahead of time. Do I have another slide or is that it?
That's it for you.
That's it. So I would like, if I may, a motion to accept or approve the 2021 budget. Or do I make that?
You did, and it looks like
Okay.
It's being received with favor. So thank you, Wendy. And thank you to Katie for being here with us. We are moving right along. Okay, so again, a little bit different. So just, we did realize that the 2019 annual business meeting minutes, just because of all things, pandemics and things, we had not yet had the membership review and approve the 2019 business meeting minutes. So we included both 2019 and 2020 as attachments to this meeting. So our hope is that you will have reviewed those minutes, and if there are any comments, changes, edits that need to be made, or maybe have, is there any discussion on the minutes, in fact? Feel free to raise your hand or pop right up if there is any discussion.
Sandy?
Yes.
I move to accept the 2019-2020 minutes as submitted through the ISASH member network.
Okay, may I have a second?
I'll second. Amy.
All right, thank you, Amy. So that's Michael moved, Amy second, and all those in favor? Hands up, thumbs up, aye. How'd we do? 20 yes, 21. Look at that. I just figured out where I look for it.
Sorry, just, do we need to do them independently?
I don't think so, but if we.
No, that's good. Sorry.
Okay. Well, it's just for the sake of clarity, is everyone okay with having accepted them both together? Go ahead and raise those hands again if you're okay with having done them both at once. All right, excellent. Thank you for that. T's crossed, I's dotted. Okay, thanks everybody. Okay, so next slide, Abby. Just moving into then, this is my report, the summary of board action on the committee recommendations. So I just wanted to note that as referred to in the Finance Committee report, the draft 2022 budget will be presented for review by the new board by September the 1st of 2021, and it will include budget requests from the membership committee of $1,900 and the PR committee of $1,000. There were no other budget requests from the committees, and those budget requests will be reviewed with the finalization of the 2022 budget, which the Finance Committee will present for membership vote, probably in the member area, the paid member area of IMN. We can just even do that as a poll. We could put the attachment there and then set a poll to have everyone vote on that. So that would be as per the Finance Committee report. And the other board action is that there was that full slide that we all saw of the Finance Committee recommendations. I won't read them all out again now, but those will also be discussed by the new board. And the Finance Committee will be notified of the results and any attended actions out of those recommendations. Okay, moving on. So the ISASH board report for 2021. First, I'm thankful to Brian for having made this slide for us. We're going to get some mileage out of it. We're all looking pretty good there. And Brian will ask you to make us a new slide like that for the new board, if you don't mind. So highlights for this year, we said that we would build on momentum and continue the journey and the vision of previous boards before us. We said we would explore opportunities for membership to have their input and grow our international presence. And we said that we would do everything we could to improve communications. And I do believe that we have done that. So I'm just going to share with you some of the ways that we've done that. We did, as many of you recall, we sent out a survey, right around Christmas time, I think shortly after Christmas, because we didn't want it to get lost in the holidays, just asking what members thought. We wanted to make sure before the board made that very difficult decision to cancel the in-person conference, we wanted to make sure that we had membership support. We wanted to know what people were thinking. So we did send that survey out, and it was a resounding, I do believe, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I believe it was more than 89% said they would not attend. So there were a few maybes. 89 or more % said they would not attend. So that certainly helped the board. It was a pretty obvious decision after that. And from there, we did meet with the planning committee, or the conference planner, who actually took it upon herself to negotiate and help us invoke our force majeure with any contracts that we had for the hotel. So we did not lose any of our deposits. We've received refunds from both the the Biltmore, where we were going to have our Sunday night event, which Lamar and team had worked so hard. I know they were so excited about the plans to host us, and we were very disappointed, but at least we did not lose any money on those contracts for either the Biltmore or the hotel. So, and just as an added piece there, the conference planner, Jolene, she actually waived her fees. She didn't charge us anything for her time spent negotiating contracts on our behalf throughout the process, or even when we deferred from one year to the next. She did all of that work on our behalf as goodwill, in hopes that we'll work with her moving forward when we do get to meet again. So we'll keep that in mind for sure. This board met 9 times. In my 6 years on the board, we traditionally have about four meetings plus the face-to-face. Well, this board met 9 times. For longer than any of those original 4 meetings, plus countless emails and interactions in IMN and also in Asana that I'll tell you about in a second. We actually put in more than 300 hours of collective volunteer board time. And as I said, we met almost monthly. I mentioned Asana. Asana is actually, it's like a project management platform that Micah introduced us to. And I think we're still on a bit of a learning curve. We're using it. I can see how we could use it better, but it's really helpful for us in terms of managing our administrative needs. It helps us to be more frugal in terms of, don't listen, Abby and Katie, but it allows us to be a little more self-sufficient without having to turn to Abby for everything. And it enables us to set up recurring tasks. So actually, I'm glad Chip is here today. I was very thankful to Chip for we spent several Friday mornings together virtually, just putting everything in there, all of the things that Chip has always done for us that we've always taken for granted. We've put those in there as recurring duties. So whether it was me, whether it's next going to be Michael or other members of the board, we know what needs to be done when, and then we'll get a reminder. So I really appreciate Chip helping us get that set up. And we don't want to drop any of those balls that Chip had been juggling for the board and for the organization so long. So thank you to Mike also for introducing us to that. I think we all swear at it a little bit, but we're getting used to it. So, and we've embraced IMN. Again, it's a learning curve. I think we learned a lot from last year's conference and how we tried to use it last year. And we did an upgrade, which was just a minimal cost, and it's enabled us to do so much more with the platform. And I've even had comments that some people have attended conferences on much more robust platforms, but they liked this one better. It was simple. It was all Zoom based, and it was just easier, straightforward, less getting lost in rabbit holes and that sort of thing. So also the IMN helped us as we've been quite pleased about. We've grown our presence to now 265 people are in the ISASH online community network, and we keep telling everyone 17 countries. As compared to the membership list that I looked at in March 2020, there were 6 countries. So we're very pleased about that growth. And also we've used the IMN throughout the year, whether that's for conversations and chats or workshops, different things. You've all been, I was preaching to the choir. This is the engaged group who has seen everything that we've done, but it's great to see how it's really taking on. And I'll tell you more about that in a second. Another thing I'm really excited about is how the board, we launched that history project, and those folks just grabbed the reins. So thank you so much to the history subcommittee. Just so exciting to see that taking shape. As you know, we've talked about launching the strategic planning and the survey. So again, opportunities for members to speak up and tell us what they want, what they need, what's of value, what's going to make them want to engage, dig in, and learn more here. And we did obviously the conference planning. Again, reached out and asked people with just a simple survey, what would they like to see at the conference? What were the things that would make them want to come? And it looks as though it's worked. We had, I'm going to peek ahead, but 153 conference attendees join us, which is great. And the other thing about the conference I wanted to add is we strived to include as much of the familiar as we could. So we wanted to line it up so that I know we can't be together, but it looked and felt as much like that ISASH week that we all enjoy so much. So that's why I was especially excited to have Bob do that resolution for us, because it felt like one of the missing pieces for me, at least. And I think another key thing is we saved a bundle of money. I don't know if that's how many dollar signs go after that, but just by self-managing the conference, we did it ourselves rather than having a conference planner or other services. We did it ourselves. With the support of Micah and some extra admin support from Abby, we did it ourselves. And I think we're very pleased with how things have turned out. And I'm especially pleased that there's not going to be a gigantic invoice at the end of this. And I think the most important thing is, as the theme I've been saying along, is really listening to members, giving everyone the opportunity. It's an open, especially now that we have this platform, everyone can reach out at any point and let the board or other committee leaders, chairs know what they want and what they need. So I'm really pleased at how I think we're listening to our members and looking for those opportunities, hearing what they say and what they need to help us grow. So can you go to the next slide, Abby? So this is a bit of a surprise. Most of the board hasn't seen this yet either. I wanted to share with you my inner geek. So my boss would tell you I always used to be the person who moaned and complained about targets and metrics and stuff like that. But when you get the numbers that work in your favor, that really tell a great story, then I love it. So I found the premium analytics inside IMN, which shows us. So we know that we have 265 online community participants, 153 conference attendees. We have more than 70 paid annual memberships. But I also like that number that says 184 active members. So that shows that people are digging in and using it. And of course, Mike is taking off right now, and I just wanted to embarrass Micah by thanking him. So I hope he can still hear me. But we, the board, and I think the organization as well, really appreciate everything that Micah has done to introduce us to things like Asana and IMN, and bear with me asking the same question 200 times and hold our hands to help us get into the platform or find the right place to click or whatever. So thank you very much, Micah. And just in case he is still here, if everyone would like to just do a thumbs up or something to show Micah our appreciation would be great. The other thing I just wanted to add on this slide is also, if you look at that retention number, so 92% retention rate is terrific. It's not as great as we think just because it's so new. That number will be really important for us to look at moving forward. Let's see how we're doing after the conference, and let's see what are the things that make that number go up or down so that we make sure that we can gauge what's working. So next slide, Abby. So the thing I like about this one is if you look on the right-hand side, and I'm sorry, that was kind of as big as I could make it. This is us communicating with one another. The darker color is us interacting with posts. The lighter purple one where the yellow arrow is, that's us interacting with one another. That's conversations, that's us engaging, sharing, getting together. So the other thing I wanted to add is that Micah has been tracking for us our attendance at every session through the conference. And I think the lowest I saw was 37. I think our average attendance is 55 to 65 members or participants in each session that we've been doing. So again, love when the numbers are worth bragging about. So, and next slide. It's almost the end of the IMN 101. I just wanted to share with you, this is a way that we can see if it's working, know if it's working, and also know where to put our energy to make it work better. So the other piece here, this is the part of impressions versus engagement. So it's a little bit different than, you know, if you post an article in a newspaper, usually your impressions number will be higher than your engagement. But in this case, the impressions is just how many people saw it. And then the engagement means they liked it, they viewed it, they responded to it. So that's our posts, clicks, cheers. And the other cool thing, if you look at the Lamar's, for instance, Lamar had put a question out. So it actually scored 114 because I had 48 clicks, 13 cheers, and then it's a conversation. And all of those interactions are weighted. So, you know, just a glance at it doesn't count as much as if someone actually then engages in the conversation with Lamar. So again, we can break it down more as we move forward and as we learn more about what all these analytics tell us and what all else is in there. But I think it's going to help us drive what we do next. So that's it for those. Next slide. So again, I just wanted to thank everybody. I appreciate Bob doing the resolution, to thank everyone as well, but just really wanted to thank the team that helped build the conference. I really wanted to thank Lamar and everyone in North Carolina who hung in there. And, you know, they offered to host us one year and then they hung in and they offered to host us a second year. And even though we still didn't come, they still put on some special effort into making us all feel welcome with the history videos and stuff. So I wanted to thank Lamar and I wanted to thank Alyssa for all of her help in that project. Obviously the history committee and Jack for coming back and hanging out with us, everyone else who came and helped out along the way, and everyone who came and dug in. You know, we weren't really sure what to expect. We knew we wanted to learn from what we did last year and do a better job this year. And we really just appreciate everyone having a positive attitude and helping us put on a good show, if you will. Okay, so next slide. And this one's you, Michael Pate.
Thank you, Sandy. I'm pleased to tell we've had a lot of interest, at least 2 proposals submitted to the board for review to consider hosting our conference in 2022. I don't know if they are both very good proposals. I believe we need to look at it as a board. One has been submitted from the High Plains Intermountain Center for Agricultural Health and Safety, and then the other was submitted from the Southeastern Coastal Center for Agricultural Health and Safety. Both those are very good proposals. One is looking at hosting there in Fort Collins, which D is just a very short drive to Laramie, where the University of Wyoming is. I know that's very important to you. And then you have Tampa Bay, which is a possible site. Both places have relative, international access for an airport, and both proposals are looking at incorporating a hybrid portion of the conference so that our international members who might not be able to travel would still be able to engage with us as much as they've done in this virtual format. So we're still looking for additional hosts for 2023 and beyond. So if you have a place that would be a great site to bring out these wonderful ISASH members, please don't hesitate to contact me or one of our board members to engage in what it might take to put a proposal together and what would be considered as part of hosting one of those responsibilities. So thank you, everyone. And I hope that we'll be able to make an action on this relatively quick after this conference, and so that we know where we're going for certain. So thank you again.
Okay, thank you, Michael. And next slide, Abby. Okay, moving into new business, and Aaron has agreed to present the awards.
Thanks, Sandy. And again, welcome everybody. It's good to see all the faces on here and make it. I saw a comment down there that says it kind of feels like an ISASH conference, so that's a good thing. We all miss meeting face to face. I told Jenda the other day it's going to be quite a party when everybody gets back together, I think, for sure. So I am the chair of the awards committee, and this year I'm going to be covering 2 of them, and then Sandy gets to take back over for the President's Awards. So this year we received nominations, or actually shout out to the committee first. So myself, Dee, Peter, Scott, and Sandy as being part of the awards committee and selecting these awards. We did receive 2 nominations for both the ISASH Research Achievement Award and the Maynard Co-Professional Achievement Award. We did not receive any nominations for the ISASH Practitioner Achievement Award. So just a little nugget and reminder, make sure you, when we send the call out a few months before the conference, that you guys respond and nominate people. The nominations do carry over from year to year for a few years, and it says in the membership manual, which I don't have memorized, how many years that carries over for. So we will have that as well. So we have a few in line for next year, the ones that didn't win this year. But I'm happy to announce the Research Achievement Award, and I'll have you go to the next slide. So that was awarded to Dr. Brianna Hagan from the University of Guelph. And I took out just a little excerpt from one of the submission publications. And it says, knowledgeable, experienced researcher with unparalleled passion for research. Brianna brings everything she has to her work. She uses mixed research methods, combining the strength of qualitative and quantitative, easy for you to say. This lends to a broad depth to her research. So I congratulate you, Brianna, and I think Brianna's on. I don't know if Brianna wants to say a word or two. You don't have to, but you can light up your video and your microphone if you'd like.
Hi, I am here. Thank you, everybody. This is a surprise and a wonderful surprise. I really appreciate it.
Congratulations, Brianna.
Yes, congrats. All right. So the Maynard Co-Award is the following award. Both of these awards I should have mentioned have a monetary prize as well as a plaque that goes along with them, and those will be mailed to the participants. And these first 2 awards are supported by the ISASH Endowment Fund. So we thank those trustees and the endowment fund managers as well for supporting these awards. So the Maynard Co-Award, and I'll have you flip forward, Abby, goes to Dr. Charles Schwab, retired from Iowa State. I did not hear back from him as far as attending, and I don't believe that he's on. So we'll be sad to miss his presence here. But he's probably enjoying retirement at this point, I hope. So Dr. Schwab has been a very active member of ISASH throughout the years. I can remember him from the 20+ years I've been coming here. And he's been on the endowment committee most recently. He just retired this past fall in October of 2020 and served over 30 years in the agriculture and biosystems engineering, doing research and extension work and other outreach, as well as mentoring and networking with others. So we would like to congratulate Dr. Schwab on this award. And again, thank you for the endowment committee supporting this award. And maybe, I don't know if we're recording this, we can get a separate call with Dr. Schwab to, I don't think we're recording, but we can get a separate.
We are.
Oh, okay. So maybe we can cut this section out and send it to him, or make him watch the whole thing to get to this part. So
I think you can watch the whole thing. Yeah.
So
Yes.
thanks again to the awards committee and to the endowment fund for sponsoring these awards, and to the awardees for the work they've done for ISASH and for the betterment of worker safety and health in agriculture. And then back to you, Sam.
Thank you, Aaron. Okay, next slide, Abby. Okay, I just wanted to mention there will be 2 President's Awards recognized today. I wanted to point out, so this is at the discretion of the President, and it is to be awarded to someone or someones who stand out in their service of ISASH. They will receive a lovely ISASH award or plaque with their name engraved on it and with my gratitude. So the first one is someone that we all know and we all appreciate. I'm sure every single member here has been greeted with a warm welcome from this person at some point in their time here. Next slide. So I will say, Ellen, I hope you're okay with this picture because I couldn't exactly ask you to send me a bio picture of yourself. So with that, I'm actually going to read what I wrote for Ellen Dyson because it's important to me and I don't want to miss a single word. So the first time I saw Ellen in action in Omaha, Nebraska, only her second conference, I believe, I could tell she's a woman who values this organization, is always ready to dig in and get things done, and always has ISASH best interests and future success in mind. As co-chair of the membership committee, Ellen leans into everything she does with energy, enthusiasm, and a can-do attitude, as well as a wicked, very much appreciated sense of humor. In addition to her well-known role as the cheerful host of our annual new member breakfast, Ellen has been incredibly helpful with the ISASH History Subcommittee, celebrating, collecting photos and anecdotes, and generally keeping that group to task when we would happily spend the whole meeting just chatting and sharing stories. As an avid member of this year's conference planning committee, Ellen has been instrumental in growing our social media presence, crafting messaging for conference communications, and was invaluable in conference program development and planning, lining up international speakers, gathering the giveaway prizes, sending folks mugs, and generally just jumping in whenever, wherever she saw an opportunity to apply her skills and her passion. Ellen promotes ISASH at every turn. She welcomes innovations and new ideas and is always looking for ways to make sure our members, old and new, feel welcome and valued. Whenever I have reached out with a question or even a nugget of an idea, Ellen has greeted me with, "What can I do for you today, friend?" Well, today, dear Ellen, the thing you can do for me is accept this heartfelt token of my appreciation for all that you have done to support me in my year as president and all that you do for ISASH year after year. It is my pleasure to present Ellen Dyson with the 2021 President's Award. Would you like to say anything, Ellen Dyson?
Well, now y'all know I'm a crybaby. Oh, that is what a lovely honor. Thank you. And you all know how much I love this organization, and I want to thank you, Sandy, for the kind words. That's you really took me by surprise.
That was the intent.
I couldn't believe it when that face came up.
So thank you, Ellen, from all of us. Thank you so much.
Kind and too much.
Too much. Okay, so do not advance the slide for just a moment. Okay, Abby, I just wanted to remind you not to. So for my second President's Award, I just want to start by saying, and I have to read this one because now she's going to make me cry. I've learned so much from so many of our masters, from my interactions with them, listening to them, even sometimes through challenges, from what they say and do, and even sometimes from what they don't say. Spirited leaders won't always agree, and it is in finding the balance in mutually supported solutions that we all become stronger. So there are many among you to whom I am very grateful, and I do hope that you all know who we are, because when we're challenged, we grow. However, there's one seasoned master in particular that I would like to recognize and celebrate today. So listen closely. I don't think it will take long before you all know who I'm talking about. I'm sure you would be hard-pressed to find any greater believer in the importance of ISASH, a protector of its history, and a visionary for its future. and I know of no more respected individual in our midst. This man has seen ISASH through many changes through the years of his involvement. He is a quiet and respected leader, actively involved in several committees, and highly supportive of everyone here. I've learned so much from listening to him, his stories, his perspectives, and his gentle words of wisdom. And I have felt honored to have him listen to me, to feel heard, and have him help me explore my ideas, hopes, and goals for this whirlwind year at the helm of ISASH. He's kind, he's fair, respectful, supportive, so humble, encouraging, and always appreciative of others' time, ideas, and intent. As past president of 1973-74, active member of the Finance Committee, the History Subcommittee, co-chair of Public Relations, and Endowment Fund trustee, a master and a gentleman, his passion and heartfelt dedication to ISASH is an inspiration to me and so many others. You flip the slide, Abby. It is my pleasure to present a 2021 ISASH President's Award to the one and only Jim Williams. Jim, you have made such an impact on me and my experience at ISASH these past 11 years, and I know I'm still a newbie compared to your slightly longer years of service, but you, my friend, set the bar high when it comes to how we treat one another in this organization and what we can achieve by being open to new ideas and working together. If it takes a village to raise a child, it also certainly takes a few seasoned members to coach, mentor, and support each new prospective leader in this organization. And I have been so blessed to have had that kind of support from you. Congratulations, Jim, and thank you.
Madam President, I'm overwhelmed, as you can imagine. I don't know whether any of those terms apply to me, but I will remember some of them, and I'm overwhelmed. And this is a special group. And I said in my taped history interview, when groups or individuals think that they're saving lives, preventing injuries, and doing work, it's a great organization and great people to do all that they do. And so I'm overwhelmed by the conference because I think I understand, without being very technical, that a lot of you been up to midnight, lots of nights. And so I can't imagine a conference that's been harder to do. But most of all, I want to say thank you to all of you. I encourage everyone to find a fellow compatriot in your state or in your town or in your country, if you can't get them to join this great organization as well. So Sandy, thank you to all the members. I say thank you. And with that, I'd better be still before I go on and run us over time. Thank you all.
Well, thank you, Jim. And you know we'll all listen to you for hours, so anytime. But so very well deserved. And I hope you're able to see some of the comments in the chat there to you. So Abby, if you don't mind making a note, as we do keep a copy of the chat, let's cut those excerpts out and make sure that they do go to Jim and Alan and our other awards recipients. So as just an extra piece of the reward, right? Since we're not in person, because if we were, you'd be getting handshakes all over the place, all of you. So it's the best we can do for now until we get back together. So next slide. Okay. So Mr. Pate, Dr. Pate, are you ready?
No.
You so
No.
are. You so are. I'm going to read again because I'm a little verklempt, if you will. So Michael Pate. Michael has fulfilled 6 years, that's 2 terms on the board, and despite that putting him in the rather unique but still eligible situation of being a non-voting president, the board selected him as your next president using a nomination and a confidential voting process, which Abby so kindly ran for us. Members chose Michael for the board twice, and directors chose him to be our leader. He is well respected and he has really done his homework. Michael knows this mission's organization, its members, our structures, and even all of those operational guidelines inside and out, and he is so ready for this job. Much of this week's program has focused on celebrating our rich past, where we've been and what led us to here, and on understanding what members want and need for the future of ISASH. So Michael, my challenge to you and the new board will be to continue learning from our past and leverage those strengths to focus on the future. With a new strategic plan just around the corner, let's see what you can do to shine a light on the up and coming. Who are the next masters in our midst, and what can we do to celebrate them and make new opportunities for their future in ag health and safety? Michael, I want you to know that working side by side with you this past year has been a joy. I value your enthusiasm, your dedication to ISASH, the way you support others and what's fair and what's good for ISASH, the way you approach decisions, weighing all the variables and all the possible outcomes and standing behind decisions once they're made. And we've made a few tough ones together as a board. Some of them may not have been everyone's choice. Some of them weren't easy choices, but that doesn't mean they weren't good or very carefully considered choices. Our complementary approaches, yours and mine, to problem solving made me so confident at every turn that we've got this. All that and your clever wit, not to mention your use of Zoom filters during meetings, has made our time this year a pleasure and helped us grow as a team. You are a rock, even though you don't know how to say process or process. And we're lucky to have you. It will be my honor to sit next to you as past president and watch you lead ISASH through another successful year. Michael, you ready? Please accept this gavel as a token of our faith in you as our new leader.
Somehow it got transferred to a nice tool that we can use.
That might happen.
So,
ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Michael Pate, ISASH President for 2021-22.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate this honor, and I will do my best to serve ISASH and its membership. As we close out this session and our business meeting, I just think about, what we've gone through, and the things that I've thought about is that our circumstances, whether it's virtual or face-to-face, don't define us, but who we are determines how we will react to those circumstances. And I look and I ask myself, who is ISASH and who are you? Things have been hard over the last year, and I've seen who we are, and I'm proud of our accomplishments. I look at this room and I see overcomers. I see tenacious and tireless individuals dedicated to improving their craft. I see caring and compassionate people willing to serve and learn. I see the future. Ray Kroc is credited for saying, if you're green, you're growing, but if you're ripe, you're rotting. So let us not find ourselves thinking we are ripe with wisdom and knowledge to our detriment, but let us find ourselves humble and grateful to learn and serve. We move forward by welcoming and including our international members, by continuing to celebrate our great accomplishments. From our learning from the master's session, we truly stand on the shoulders of giants. A theme for me this conference has been the use of theory-based, evaluation-focused, and impact-driven programming. I'm very thankful for the efforts that we've had in our presenters and our committees and our directors. With that, I would like to pass the slide on and talk a little bit about the next group of leaders in our committees. And our committees have been noted. I've talked to several individuals, but we're still looking for people to serve on committees. We have Aaron serving as our Bylaws and Resolutions Committee Chair with Dean Anderson. Additional members is Richard Franklin. We have membership continuing in Ellen Dyson and David Sullivan. Professional Improvement, Gretchen Mosier, Steve Freeman, with additional members, Stephanie Berkeley and Alma Jordan. Public Relations, Jana Davidson, and continue. We hope that you will stay with us, Jim Williams, and Stephanie Berkeley has been added as a new member. As retirements occur, Research and Development, we have Karen Funkenbush co-chairing with Jamie Thiessen, and then our endowment trustees, we have Murray Matson. I'm excited about what the endowment committee has in store for us. Finance will continue to be Natalie Roy. And then we have our interest group chairs, Farm Family Leisure, Jana Davidson, Tractor and Machinery Safety, Saurabh Garuku, and Rural Occupational and Health and Safety, Salah and Diane Rollman. We really appreciate their volunteering, their efforts. If you are still interested in supporting ISASH, we really want to see our international members become part of these committees and then eventually in our leadership and their directors. So if you're interested, please send me a message on our ISASH member network. And thank you for all of our sponsors this year. As you can see behind me, we have John Deere combining some wheat out in the valley. We want to thank them for sponsoring our hospitality suites, which will be coming up next. So don't miss it. I'll be your host. We are so thankful for National Farm Medicine Center, the Central States for Agricultural Safety and Health, and the North Carolina Agro-Medicine Institute. Again, thank you, everyone. And may I entertain a motion to adjourn?
This is Brian Cool, so moved.
This is Marcia Salzweedl, second.
We have several seconds. We have a motion from Brian Cool, a second from Marcia Salzweedl and Bob Ahearn. All those in favor. We'll see you at the hospitality suite. Peace out, homies.